What's up, family? So I'm just here to get some value. If you get some value from this video, make sure you get this video a big thumbs up. As usual, I just let off my authentic thoughts and give my response, perspective, and insights, and ask you guys questions. I want to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments, and we just have a genuine conversation here and just rock out. Today we got a lot to talk about. We got Joy Behar basically saying that Trump voters are misinformed and misled. We have Anna Navarro and Joy Reid basically saying that Trump being on Times Magazine as he was announced Person of the Year resembles the mannerism of Hitler when Adolf Hitler was on Times Magazine. And then lastly, we have CNN pushing the whole hoax that Trump tariffs is going to make the cost of living for Americans rise and basically destroy Americans and not have their best interests. But check out Joy Behar first in regards of her take on how Trump voters are misinformed and misled. Check this out, family.
I don't know what people were thinking when they voted for him. I mean, this one statistic really got to me. He lost, during his term, 200,000 manufacturing jobs. He lost them. Yeah. Joe Biden added more than 775,000 jobs. And people voted for Trump. I think that they have been misinformed, misled by other networks. You know, people get mad at us. They say we're one-sided here. The statistics are here. But I do think it was...
The statistics are here, as she said. But family, we all know Joy Behar in this case is basically advocating for don't believe what you hear or see, just listen to me. And I did my research and I want to fact check her because she is lying, okay? And she's not saying the facts in regards of manufacturing jobs. So here's what I'm going to give you in regards of the truth and not a lie, unlike her. That's why legacy medias and legacy media outlets in The View are dying. As we all know that Joy Behar was the one that said Joe Rogan believes in dinosaurs. Mind you, they always have to read these legal notes because of the things they do in regards of defamation and crossing legal lines from a legality standpoint, where they always got to cover their lies on air with legal notes. But however, this is the facts, okay, family? The manufacturing sector lost about 1.4 million jobs in April 2020 alone, as the pandemic forced factory closures, halted production, and disrupted supply lines or supply chains. In this case, by the time Trump left office in January 2021, the U.S. has seen some recovery, but many of the jobs lost during the pandemic had not yet been fully regained. Obviously, right? So from January 17th to February 2020, Donald Trump's administration saw an increase of approximately 500,000 manufacturing jobs. Well, 500 to 600,000 manufacturing jobs. However, the gains were partially offset by the impact of the pandemic in 2020. The full recovery and further job growth in manufacturing came after the pandemic, especially in 2021 under the Trump administration. But the 500,000 jobs added during Trump's first 3 years are the most relevant figure for the pre-pandemic recovery period. So he in total, the total number of jobs recovered since Biden took office from early 2021 to 2024, from early 2021 to 2024, likely exceeds 700,000. But remember, I said Trump increased manufacturing jobs to 500,000 in regards of recovering before he left office. So Joe Biden only had 200,000 manufacturing jobs he created if Trump already had the initial 500,000 jobs and manufacturing jobs in a recovery standpoint from Trump before he left office. So if anything, Trump far exceeded more than Joe Biden when it came to recovering after the pandemic when it came to manufacturing jobs. I rest my case though. However, moving on to the next segment, because I just wanted to fact check the lunch ladies here, or the lunch lady in this case. We have Anna Navarro, okay? She basically is talking about Trump on Times Magazine.
Time Magazine cover, because you remember he used to keep a fake. Yes, he used to keep a fake Time Magazine cover where
That's the fake one
that he used to keep in his country clubs. And also, just as you know, so you know, he's it's not always been great people.
See, at the end of the day, family, what's wrong with visualizing something and having faith before it actually come into reality? I'm not sure of you guys, but I know in my experience as kids, in elementary school and icebreakers, and when you walk into your new class and you move on to the next grade and they do icebreakers and say, hey, what are you going to be when you grow up? They do it even in college. Hey, introduce yourself. What is your major? Blah, blah, blah. But in elementary school, as an activity growing up, I had to do a vision board. I would cut out magazines of things that I dreamed of, a nice house, what I might want. So what's wrong? I never knew what was wrong with having a template and putting yourself on Times Magazine until it come to fruition as it did. So shout out to Trump for that, speaking things in existence. That's just amazing. But check out Joy Reid and her divisiveness as she had her comments in regards of mentioning Adolf Hitler and Trump when it came to this Time magazine. Check this out.
Better or for worse is not much of a ringing endorsement, and we all know which one Trump falls under. And let's remember who else has been given this title in years past in the same category: Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Ayatollah Khomeini, and Vladimir Putin. In fact, Stalin won the distinction twice, just like Trump.
This lady is so hard-hearted. Her heart is so hard and cold and just so destructive.
Regardless of the company he keeps, we know how important these magazine covers are to Trump. Just look at this tour he gave the Washington Post in 2015 of his Trump Tower office, with a wall adorned with his various cover appearances. Better or for worse.
See, she got to get the hate out of her blood, man. Envy is a real thing. Just look at this lady. This lady has so much to say that Trump is a bad man, trying to compare and say, she's not even comparing. She's basically trying to say there are similarities between Trump on Time magazine and Adolf Hitler. Just like Adolf Hitler, he joins the company of Adolf Hitler within regards of their mannerism and how they are, because Trump is a bad man. And this is why individuals are no longer going to legacy media outlets to be informed. And this is why MSNBC is dying, MSNBC, NBC, and CNN are dying. Because of individuals like this who are so divisive that they can't think objectively because they're so hardened, but let them suffer. Let them suffer. Get far away from people like this because they already have preconceived notions and they don't care to be objective about anything else or anything, because obviously she can continue to run with this, oh, Trump bad man stuff and continue to be a propagandist. But at the end of the day, everything that she says, why doesn't Trump actions align with it? And I'll leave it there, because the truth always trumps or overcomes the lie. The truth always speaks for itself, and you don't have to say much, unlike her, because the lie, you have to keep saying things and hoping something stick, just like throwing on the wall or dookie on the wall, so to say, right? But however, moving on to the next topic, and that is Alyssa Griffin questioning Trump economic policies. Check it out.
To assassination attempts. I don't like the man. I didn't vote for the man, but I mean, he is the most powerful force in American culture and politics right now. Now, what I'm looking for is like what the delta between what he said he's going to do and what he's actually going to do. And
pretty far.
And it's often very far, because he was smart to talk about what voters cared about on the campaign trail. So the cost of living, grocery prices, gas prices, and so on. I'm really curious to hear what the actual plan is to address those.
He doesn't have a plan. He has concepts of a plan.
Well, and there have been some smart people that were appointed to roles, but then he's talking about things like tariffs that are literally going to bring the cost of every single thing up.
I don't know.
Okay, family. We're going to see, okay? We're going to see if Trump is far more intelligent, which I believe, than these out-of-touch Delulu people. Or we're going to see if Trump is wrong and the tariffs raise up the cost of living, okay? I'm going to leave it there, because these individuals want to question it. We'll see as things take place, because I believe that Trump tariffs, as we all know, they're basically a way to make other countries fall in line, right? It's a tactic, okay? And obviously, we know when Trump speaks, he moves markets. We have seen that evidently over and over again. When Trump speaks on his Truth Social platform, he moves mountains, man. That's why the Mexican president got in line in regards of checking those caravans and taking them back, because Trump said, I'll put a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico if y'all don't get these criminals up out of here, these illegals and these caravans that's coming over to the border. Before I get in office, we're going to have a problem. So obviously, making an example, when you're a leader leading a country, you got to make an example out of some people to make these other individuals get in line so they know that you standing on business as a leader that's advocating for the best interest of your country, in this case, us Americans, right? Right. So, however, we have CNN over here. They basically want to say that Trump tariffs is going to make the cost of living go up. Check this out.
Traffic. The president talked about it in that same statement, which I don't think your team cut the rest of it. He talked about the supply chain issues, and supply chain issues are a real issue.
All right,
Can
we level set just for a moment? All right, Donald Trump lied. That's first, and let's just articulate exactly.
That is not true.
About what? That is absolutely true.
Let me just clearly state what he lied about, just so we're on the same page.
Fair.
All right. During the campaign, Donald Trump said that he was going to bring prices down. Today, he simply said, you know what? Those prices, particularly grocery prices, are not going to come down. I don't know if you have children, but if you do, if your children tell you if they tell you one thing on one day and then they come back and tell you that's not what's going to happen, that is considered a lie. That's first. The second thing is, just from a very, very 50,000-foot view, one of the things we know is Scott was actually 50% correct in that Democrats did not do a good job in telling our story. We did not do a good job of addressing the pain that Americans felt. We said one of the mistakes we made throughout Biden's campaign was saying.
At the end of the day, they never cared about the best interests of America or Americans or care about in-house. That's why Joe Biden is still amplifying on the very thing that he's standing on. And at the end of the day, when you get more power and a person get more power, it basically just exposes more of who they are, right? Because in the case of why are they sending money to Ukraine to fund proxy wars with Russia? That's none of our business. Why are they not basically mentioning the border crisis and how these sanctuary cities like Chicago and Mayor Brandon Johnson, who was a school teacher running a city, is raising property taxes to take care of these illegal immigrants, right? But no, you don't hear Joe Biden them talk about that. They don't believe, the truth is they don't believe that they done anything wrong. The American people just didn't get the message in. We should have articulated our message even more better than we did. But we don't believe that we said anything wrong that did not resonate with the people. And that's where common sense, boop, goes out the window. But this is going to get heated, family, and I want you guys to check this out because the guy in a brown suit, I think his name is, Bakari, he is going to touch Scott, and it's going to get dicey, man.
Biden's presidency was saying that inflation was transitory. Like, those things were not accurate because there are people who were out there feeling the pain of the price of eggs, feeling the pain of the price of whiting, like my dad at Piggly Wiggly. Those things were real. What Scott was not accurate about, which kind of happens around the table sometimes, although I know you want to be.
Don't touch me.
I can't touch you.
All right, everybody keep your hands to yourselves at the table.
All right, but one of the things Scott was not accurate about, there was a reason why we have inflation in the first place. This is not Joe.
Well, who caused the reason of inflation? The Biden administration. Who do you think funds these illegal immigrants getting food stamps and getting cash, cards, and all that? These wars, that money is getting sent over to Angola. Joe Biden just sent over $1 billion to Ukraine. I mean, the Secretary of Defense just sent over $1 billion to Ukraine. Joe Biden had a $30 billion, he's funding Ukraine with $30 billion, but $10 billion are going to come from America and the $20 billion are going to come from other countries, but it's a loan. Who do you think fund this? The American people. Tax-paying citizens who are legal. So how do you not say that, how do he say that, Bakari say that Scott got it wrong in regards to inflation? But I want you guys to see how out of touch in regards of how the woman over here, the woman with the pink suit, she gonna stand on business in regards of saying that Trump tariffs is gonna basically, she's gonna break it down to try to explain and defend that Trump tariffs is gonna raise the cost of everything, right?
All of the things that Trump is promising now in his economic agenda will make inflation worse.
Cheaper energy?
First
make
of all,
it worse?
oil production is at an all-time high. We are producing more oil per day in this country than any country has
I think energy
in
producers
history.
would tell you the government is put a boot on their
Trump's
From a
own
factual
donors in the
perspective,
fossil
isn't she
fuel
right
industry.
about that we are producing more oil now than even when Trump was in office.
Well, it's more.
That's a fact.
It's about more than just oil production. There's all sorts of.
We're also producing
refining capacity,
we're producing
pipeline
record
capacity.
high levels of natural gas.
Look, we're producing record levels of high gas. But at the end of the day, you're not understanding how it's not, yes, it looks good on paper, but it's not resonating with the American people because they're suffering. What do you not understand, lady? And this is why CNN and NBC and MSNBC, they're so out of touch that Americans don't even want to listen to you guys no more because y'all don't care to understand. High gas prices. Do you not understand that Joe Biden, yes, we have a lot of oil here. That's why Trump is saying rig, baby, rig. Joe Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline. We no longer have control of our gas and oil. What don't you understand? So that's what's causing, they're controlling the cost of it. We're not controlling it. We have a lot of oil and gas here. But Joe Biden shut the Keystone Pipeline down, so we're not in control of it. But the point is, you're not resonating with the American people. What is on paper, oh, we have a lot of high gas and stuff. How is that beneficial to the American people? It's not. That's why Americans are suffering. But I want you guys to see the last video in regards of her stance and her and Scott going at it.
I know your favorite pastime is to come out here and talk over me, but just please.
I care about the facts. I care about the facts.
The reality is, if you talk to anybody in the energy business, if you talk to anybody in
he says things that are wrong, and I interrupt him and correct him because our job is to inform our audience.
I'll just wait.
Hang on 1 second.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Finish
No.
point.
Look, I play this game every time we come out here. The legitimate answer is, he's going to do stuff on energy. He's going to take regulatory shackles off of the energy producers. If you talk to anybody in the energy business who produces, refines, deals with pipelines, this administration, Democrats in Congress, have put shackles on what they can do.
Then why is energy production at a record high?
If you take the shackles off, the prices will go down. It should help.
I guess what I'm wondering is, why won't you answer the point that she's making, which is that if it's so bad, why is energy production
I didn't dispute it.
Higher than it was under Trump? And on top of that, Trump was asked a very simple question. If you promised the American people that you'd bring prices down and then you failed to do that, is that not a problem? Is that something that the American people will judge him on?
If he brings energy prices down, and if he extends the tax cuts, and he generally implements an economic climate in which incomes can rise and certain things do come down, and he tells the American people the truth about what he's doing the entire time, I think it will be okay.
I don't understand I don't get why they don't understand this. He's basically saying if we deregulate, if we remove the restrictions and if we remove the restrictions and the regulations on how high energy is being on high energy, and we bring down the cost, so they're basically against deregulation, but deregulation helps cut down the cost of high energy cost. So energy costs will go down if you take on the action of deregulation, because then energy bills will go down, more wages will go up, and there'll be more money in the American people's pocket. I have a loved one that I know that the gas and the energy bill and everything was going so high in their home that they end up, that's why a lot of people try to go the solar panel route to help cut the cost in regards of their energy bills. But if you deregulate it and you cut the restrictions and you cut the process in regards of how what was causing the high cost of energy in the first place, it will come down. It's common sense here. So my thing is, she keep talking about how, well, why do we have all this oil and everything else? It looks good on paper, but the American people are suffering in regards of the high energy cost. But if you cut down high energy costs by deregulating it or by dysregulation, they'll come down, and the American people will see that, and it'll be beneficial to the American people. And that's how they'll have more money in their pocket. That's how the economic growth will take place. And that's why it will spur economic growth, because then we can economically thrive and be freer than ever economically. But that's my thoughts on everything, family. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some value from it. Comment down below your perspective, thoughts, and insight. And on that note, family, until next time, peace.